That tricked you all, didn't it? Good evening, everyone. How are you on this awesome? Oh my gosh, would you look at that? Need a new hairdresser. Let me see. Hi, Kelly, I was wondering, where are you, girl? I haven't seen anything from you. You must have gone hiding. Lovely to see you. Hi, Ash. How you doing? Great to have you back, and thank you for the welcome back. Yes, I needed a break. Really, I could do with another one. I might fly to the moon, see what's going on up there. Hi, Tanya Atkins, Kylie Russell, welcome. Joy, welcome this evening. Hello, Lisa. Hi, Karen McAllister, good to see you here. And Kim Jane, good evening, Kim. Thanks for the loves there. That's really nice. As you can see on the on the title there tonight, I've got the god Thoth is his name. Thoth. I've got a very bad lisp. Thoth is his name. Why have I got him up there? Well, I think we're in for a really special treat tonight. I had numerous things that I thought I was going to share with you, talk to you about. Maybe I'll be allowed to, who knows. But I've had this connection with the god Thoth, and he is an Egyptian god. He was, if you see a picture of him, he's depicted as having a head like the ibis bird. It's very unusual. Mandy, hello, sweetheart. Welcome. Mandy, you're going to love tonight. Hold on to your hat. Everybody else too. So he's depicted as having an ibis head, and he also carries an unusual hieroglyph in his hand, and it is a bit like a cross with a round thing on the top. That's very naughty of me. Should have gone and got the name of that. He is, oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Mandy. I think Kelly and Ash do too. He is the god of, he's believed to have been the one who created language, and then the love of his life, Suiseth, she delivered it. He is also, which makes sense, the god of writing, of wisdom, manifestation. He's the master of knowledge. He was also, thank you, Kim Jane. It was sitting there somewhere. Yes, that's it, an Ankh. He was also known as the mediator of the gods, and he was a patron of scribes. He was also very much about order and justice. Aha, there you go, Karen, you've beaten me to it. The symbols of his presence is the ibis bird, crescent moon, the, what is that strange stuff, the papyrus roll, and his other symbol is the moon. So I too had the ibis bird turn up in my yard maybe 2.5 odd weeks ago, and it gave me quite a start. I'm used to crows and little cheap birds, chimpy birds, and magpies and mudlarks, not an ibis. So I walked out my back door and went, oh, well, hello. And it just stood there and looked at me. And I said, well, you're safe here. So backing it up a little bit more, I recently sent out and spoke to the elemental beings and all of those beautiful beings of nature, and said that I wanted for my home, my yard, to be a sanctuary for all birds. So we have this ibis turn up, and I'm like, okay then, my little message must have been heard. And it's an unusual bird. And when I told my sister, she's the one who said, oh, you got something going on with the god Thoth. And I went, oh dear, Egyptian god. Not too sure, because usually, they hang out with with some pretty heavy duty dudes, and they bring a very powerful energy. So I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, I had been to where I get my crystals from, and as I walk past the lady who works there, she says over her shoulder, "Isn't this lovely?" And I turned to her and went, "Oh my gosh," and took it straight off her. And look what it is: a crescent moon, an agate crescent moon. Yes, Lisa, I'll put it down in just a minute. So the agate is about strength and courage, but the fact that it's a crescent moon, that is Thoth. The ibis, Thoth. I'm writing. I've been working on my prayer journal, Thoth. Wisdom, sharing knowledge, Thoth. Okay, you're in my face. What is it that you are wanting? So I was walking down the road to go for a walk, be among all the birds and nature and everything. And I was asked to sit by I'm going to call it a pond. It's a man-made water thing with lots of ducks and different water birds and things on it. And I was asked to sit there. So in spirit. So I sat down. Yes, Tanya, oh wow. I sat down, and I had been speaking to the god Thoth on my way down there. And I had asked to have a time of presence with him, should I be granted that. So I was sitting on the seat, and I found myself getting very immersed in the movement of the water and the way that the birds move around the water. So essentially I was going into a deep space of very deep calmness and peace. And then one little duck zoomed itself out on the water, and I was caught in its motion of how the water changes when the duck goes along. And of course, humans have a saying, "Oh, you're like a duck, all calm on top, but paddling like hell underneath." This little duck, it made good rate across the pond with such ease, such grace. Didn't look like it was paddling like hell at all underneath. They just mooch along. But what I was drawn to was how the water changed behind it, and the fact it never looked back. It did not look behind itself. And how the water was around the rest of the lake. And then I heard it. I heard this wind, this noise, and I'm familiar with this wind, and thought, oh, hey, going to have a visit with the beautiful being I met over East. Oh, lovely. So this wind comes up, and then the wind whisked across the top of the water, and everything changed. So I was drawn to looking at what the wind did on the water and how that changed with the duck. And then in my peripheral vision came this huge being. Now, because I'm used to it, and I mean that humbly, because I'm used to it, I don't go, ah. I welcome them in. And remember, I had been asking. So I don't want to be going, hey, what are you doing here, when I've been asking. Now, initially in my vision, this being looked like Moses, but it wasn't. He sat with me, sat down with me, and he said, "You believe the wind?" And I said, "Well, I know the wind." And he said, "How can you know the wind when you can't see it?" I said, "But I can see it. I see its movement and what you brought to the water in your presence of the wind? And he said, not I. You believe that is the wind that moves the water, because that is as you have been told. Nothing is as it seems. Look again, he said. So I'm on nothing is as it seems. So I'm like, whoa, are we going to have the Lady of the Lake come up out of the lake? What else is going to join us? I mean, how greedy can you be? I've got this awesome God next to me, and I'm like, who else is coming? So I look again, and I see all different swirls, all different movements in the water of the water. And he said, look down. Now, you ready for this? I kid you not. Hand on heart, I looked down at my feet and went, whoa, what's going on? And literally, the earth was moving beneath my feet. And I mean, I have seen some pretty cool stuff over the years, but I was mesmerized looking at that. And he said again in this beautiful, deep, calm voice, nothing is as it seems. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. The earth was literally moving, visible to me under my feet. And he was gone. And I'm like, oh, come on now. I was just getting into that. Where are you going? And he was gone. So I sat with that sensation and with this amazing sense of deep reverence of peace. And I suddenly realized I had no thoughts. None. There was nothing cranking around up here. Nothing. And I'm just like, wow. Now the noise wants to start again. Oh, let's look at the water. Let's see what we can see in the water. I'm like, shush, 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 shush. I don't want to hear you. So what I did was mesmerize myself back into the water and the duck, because he was still puddling around on the pond. And staying with me, nothing is as it seems. I left there. I walked home, looking down at my feet, wanting to see the earth move again. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. And it was magic. Absolutely magic. Now, I said about the birds. The ibis has arrived. I've had lots of symbols of the god Thoth. This afternoon, I was cleaning out cupboards, do those mortal things. Oh, boring. And that's actually very naughty of me to say that, and I should talk to you about that. And I heard a really strange sound out the back and went, oh, what is that? Is it what I think it is? And I went out quietly out my back door, and here was this magnificent kookaburra sitting on one of my seats, not sitting up in the tree. I was looking for the noise to come from the tree. See, assumption. And there it was in all its glory sitting on the tree, and it just looked at me and gave me 2 bobs of the head. So we had a chat, and I'm like, you're really safe here. Mind the cat. You're really safe here. And it made a funny noise, and I thought I'll take it out some cat mints, but it didn't know me enough to stay. And I said, oh, don't fly away. So it just landed on the neighbour's aerial, and I just heard it out the front. So manifestation has been happening very quickly. Things are changing rapidly, and you need to be aware of this. You need to be aware of your language to yourself, to anyone. I found some guidance that came through for a girlfriend today whose little boy I have been seeing too since he was 1. And he used to, without knowing what he was doing because he was only a toddler, he would call in his own kind of beings, but he would also call in or be open the energy to those that were less than friendly. So I've had to I think Toth is very busy at the moment, Kim. Where was I? Yes, her little boy. So I've been seeing to him for a while, and she was telling me that he went to walk outside. They've all been really sick this past couple of weeks, and he went to walk outside, go out in the sunshine, and she said he came back in more pale than he had been, and he said, I just have to sit down. I've just got to breathe. Now he's only 8. He goes, I've just got to breathe. And she said he closed his eyes, and she said, Did you see something? And he said, I don't want to talk about it. I just have to breathe. I've just got to breathe. And I've been with that child since he was born, and my girlfriend is very aware of circumstance with me. So she has been, through me, helping him. But I've noticed that there's a particular word that she's been using, and it's because of the new programming that's been done in the last few years, and the word is safe. I've heard one of my sisters say this repeatedly, I'm going to my safe place. I've heard another family member refer to their safe place. This is negative conditioning, and it is deep programming that takes you away from your incredible innate wisdom and power within you. And I found myself saying to her, say to him when he doesn't want to talk, because it is actually important that he talk about what he is seeing or experiencing, because otherwise it can end up being a problem. And I found myself saying to her, tell him that you always can be confident speaking to me. Not say, you are safe or you're safe to speak to me. Words and phrases of empowerment, words and phrases that align with your inner power. So begin thinking, and I believe that this is one of the biggest messages that Thoth is bringing to us. Remembering he is said to be the god of language. He is the god of scribes, mediator of the gods. Now, if you haven't done haven't done a lot of looking into the Egyptian gods, they have been coming up a lot recently, and I have heard a particular spiritual channel referencing them quite a bit. I'm like, well, this is really interesting. So what's going on? Lo and behold, on Saturday, I had a regular client come for his healing session, and I was to lay crystals on him in certain patterns. And I thought, yeah, Tanya, and not use the word safe space. That is still talking to the programmed mind, and it has tremendous impact on your ability to be in that deep place of knowingness, and also your ability to be understanding again your connectedness with the oneness. And I'll go into that a little bit more in a moment. So I found myself being guided to put crystals on him in an interesting pattern, really. And I thought, oh, this is really cool. Love healings. There is no two healings that are the same. Thanks, Tanya. And then I was drawing hieroglyphs on him. These strange symbols were being drawn on him through my hand. And my hand, this hand felt like it had a scroll in it. And that I have experienced before. And in meditation, I've been shown that I hold a scroll every lifetime, nothing to do with a soul agreement. And I was drawing these amazing hieroglyphs on him. When he came out of his session, he said, "Oh, that was amazing. Wow." And so bliss. Guys, the bliss was awesome. And I said, yeah, the whole room was full of blissful, potent, peaceful energy. And I said to him, "Did you feel anything?" And he goes, "Yes, I could feel you making marks on me or something." And I said, "Yeah, I was drawing hieroglyphs on you." And he goes, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Something you want to share?" And he said, "Wow, I was walking down the street down in Fremantle 2 days ago." And he said, "And there was this big sheet of something on the road." And he said, "And I clearly heard, 'That's for you.'" And he said, "But I thought, what would it be for me for?" See, we question instead of going, "Oh, thanks very much," and go over and get it. We go, "Oh, what do we got that for?" So he left it. But when he came back from where he was off to, it was still there. And he got, "That is for you again." So this time he went and got it. And guess what? It is on papyrus paper, and it is an Egyptian astrology chart. So I'm like, okay, what is going on? Why have we got this intensity of Thoth's presence and the Egyptian vibration, Egyptian energy? Now, I saw in a meditation with a client an amazing arrival of what I'm going to call God's army. You know, there is absolutely no doubt that in the last 3 years, there has been an incredible effort to take over humans, also to diminish them. And a lot of people have become more curious about God, about spiritual things, about prayer, about manifesting all those things. And a lot of people are saying who understand what's been going on have been saying, "Well, where's our help? You know, what's going on here?" Well, I can tell you after what I saw the other day, oh man, it's on the way. But the heavenly beings, God's army, who I saw come down through this portal, I'm going to call it, this opening, this gateway, do not look like angels. And they will not manifest into human form. And yet they are going to make themselves visible to humans. They are nothing short of centurion soldiers, and they belong to the gods of Egypt, who also belong to the divine, the cosmic source of creation. I've got to tell you, it was an amazing vision to see. And so inspiring. And yes, because I've said all along we would win. How much more are we going to have to put up with? And I hear around the place. Thanks, Joy. It was amazing. I've heard that, you know, there's another little sicky thing around, but I don't buy into that. It's not my reality, and I refuse to accept what is being played out. but I'm not ignorant either. Can't afford to be. So seeing this amazing army from heaven, but they look like centurion centaurs. Absolutely incredible. And they've got like pointy uniforms. I call them uniforms because they were all the same, and they've got like these pointy things on their shoulders. They've got maybe what some people will find rather scary faces. But hey, they're coming down here to deal with something else that's going to present itself that belongs to the other side. Got teams going on here. So to have this incredible experience with Toth and to be told, I mean, it's an old saying, right? All is not as it seems, but humans have lost their way with wording. Humans have lost their way with their connectedness to their true self, the soul, and the divinity of themselves, and to the divine. So their attentiveness to words and maybe to old sayings like all is not as it seems is very fickle. It's very fickle and it's very throwaway. Yes, Lisa, they will have no bones about showing themselves. That's what they're coming for. All who believe, I see, will be the ones who see them. Others will be terrified. And there is nothing to be terrified of. They are our centaurs of our saviors, basically, to claim back Earth. Now, in among that, do you know that the pyramids were never built by mankind? I mean, really, how anyone can even think that? Anyway, digress. Lost our way. Yeah, absolutely, Lisa, but they're pulling out all stumps and, really ramping it up compared to how they've been sort of working things. I must leave your comments for a little bit while I'm bringing stuff through so that I can keep with that. The pyramids, they are not just a crypt for pharaohs and royalty of the Egyptian race. And if you know anything about one particular pyramid, and I'm sorry, I can't remember, I can't remember the name of it, but scientists, my favorite people, they decided in their wisdom, that doesn't really work. Scientists' wisdom. Yeah, no, that was a Freudian slip. That was. They decided in their intelligence that they would shift a pyramid. So it was a massive job, as you can imagine. All sorts of machinery needed. And they moved it, and they have never, with all their smart technology and their extreme intelligence, to this day, they have never been able to line up the way the sun and the moon comes through the special hole. It's not really a hole in the pyramid. Not so smart, are they? So the pyramids don't have that just to shine on the royalty, the pharaohs and so forth that are in the crypts in there. No. They have that beam going through there because those pyramids belong to a particular alien race, galactic beings, and the pyramids themselves go right down into the depths of the earth where there is a whole lot of stuff going on. So geometrically and planet aligned and all of that, the pyramids have a crystalline embedment in them that is activated by the galactic beings who own the pyramids. That's who built them, Tanya, not the humans. How could they? So, not really that strong. So there's a lot of activity which is actually hand in hand with our Centaurian centaurs that are coming from the heavens. A lot of activity for us, for the future of humanity. And it's wonderful, wonderful. So pay more attention to your connectedness within. You cannot find your divinity external to yourself. It's not there. Yes, there are tools that are provided to you. But as I teach in the School of AWST and soon the Soul Mastery, which starts next month, to bring people to their alignment with their divinity and to be able to live their divinity. See, spiritual practices aren't, they're not a habit like having a coffee every day. They're not something that you do. You know, when I write about living a soul-led life, you live it, you be it. It's a way of life. It's not something that you pick up and put down like a book or, you know, I want to lose weight, I want to get fit, I want to think differently. Those are tools to get you to align with your divinity, to understand that sacredness that you are, that beautiful radiance of godlight that you are. These are just tools, but everybody looks at them as an external thing. Oh, I have to go and do my yoga, which you don't do yoga, you practice yoga. I have to go and write in my journal. I haven't done that for a few days. I have to go and do a star pose. I have to go and do my grounding. See, that's the mind of the programmed mind. And yes, when you are first starting on the journey of coming home to yourself and aligning with your divinity and the divine, you do need to have some kind of rationale, some kind of place to start. And many people actually, I'm going to get on my favorite hobby horse in a minute, think, oh, I'll go and do yoga. So they go to a gym to do yoga at a gym. Wrong, 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 and wrong, and wrong. Yoga does not belong in a gym. And yeah, I can hear people saying, well, people have got to start somewhere, Gwenda, and it's better that they, you know, they do something. Okay, 10 wrong words in that. Do something. Do yoga. Do this. Anytime you are doing, you are not being. Anytime you are doing, you are not aligning, because that word has been brought to you as a means of procuring success. When you are doing something, there is a goal, there's an end point. But when you are living the spiritual life, if I put it that way, or what I prefer, is to be living the life where you are led by your soul. Your soul goes first, not your mind. Then it is a way of living. It is a way of being. Does that make sense? If you are just beginning, or you've been skipping along your path and you've hit a roadblock, you need to come into Soul Mastery, right? Or into the community. But truly, if you've hit a roadblock, then it is time for you to really have a look at where you're at in yourself and how are you being. You know, that experience, which I've done more of since, of nothing, no thoughts, nothing, no noise. Oh, it's bliss. It's amazing. And the sense of spaciousness, the feeling of expansiveness is amazing. And then when I come back into, now, what was I doing? It has a whole different feel. My energy is totally different. Clarity of mind. And that's funny because this beautiful agate, that is what that is about. Enhances mental functions, sharp mind, and clear heart. So how funny that she just said, oh, isn't this lovely? And I went, oh, having that. So to be able to go into, well, Lisa, stay present. Bring your mind out of what it's thinking about and stay with me. You've missed some really important stuff in that. So becoming, and I feel very strongly that the presence of Thoth, being the god of language, of wisdom, of magic, my favorite stuff. Actually, my girlfriend said today, oh, what have you been doing? Because on my dining table, I have got a very large crystal circle going on. And I have had my mate here in it because I've been working with dragon magic. And I love dragon magic. I love dragon medicine. It is so powerful. But she said, oh, what have you been doing? And I said, well, wouldn't you like to know? So thinking about, right there. To say to you, thinking about puts the mind in gear immediately, brings forward the questioning mind or the programmed mind. Yeah, Tanya, dragon medicine, awesome stuff. So when you are in that space, in the thinking mind, you can only draw from what you have been taught. You can only draw from what you have been programmed with, and not all is as it seems. So to go into the non-thinking space is where there is expansiveness, is where there is an amazing sense of clarity. So when you come back into the thinking space, which you do need, right? Don't get confused. You do need. You do need your thinking mind, so you don't get squashed on the road like a cane toad, you know. That is a different thinking mind. Well, I could digress there too and say, if, however, you were highly attuned to your senses, you wouldn't even use your thinking mind to cross the road. And I do that a lot. I love it. The only thing that's got me caught at the moment are those damn electric cars. Can't hear them. So I'm now asking for the vibration so that I can feel them coming. So there are so many things that are accessible to you, but it takes practice and it takes the great desire to want to align yourself with your divinity and therefore the divine. Now, there are so many helpers in the unseen world. And to have the likes of the god Thoth coming forward and lots of movement in the pyramids, lots of movement between the worlds at the moment. And that's why my girlfriend's son had a visitor, because they're everywhere at the moment. So there is lots of activity going on. I don't typically buy into things like the Lion's Gate, the full moon, the portal of the Lion's Gate, and so forth. What is that? Oh, right. So there's a visitor. Wow. I have to wait and see if they are going to come forward and, oh my gosh. Who are you here for? So, sorry, threw me off a little bit. I'm used to them coming up close, not sitting back there. So this is actually a man from Spirit, Tanya Atkins. He's here for you. So you have a gentleman from Spirit that's come in, Tanya. It is father, brother. He's saying, father, brother. Could you be more specific, please? Father, brother. Tanya, he says that you are holding too much in your hands and placing too much in your hands, having too much weightedness in your hands. You're filling your hands up and not able to clear yourself, and a lot of what you're holding in your hands doesn't belong to you. So you're being carried away by other people's demands and your care of these other people. And he says you've got to let go, Tanya. You must let go. You must also, with the greatest of love and the greatest of compassion for yourself, you must let go of the one who has passed that you have struggled to be able to let go of. Gone. See? Great. Okay, so somebody's opened the doorway now. We've got Ash. There's a grandmother for you from your father's side of the family. The comment is biological father, bloodline father. So you have this gentleman has come in, and he says that you need to pay more attention to your blood. Your blood needs cleansing. It is too thick. It's not running properly. Ash, you need to bring things in through nutrition, through what you're taking in. And he says also you've got a dust. He gives me like that, that's a horrible cough. And he shows that he had trouble dust getting in, meso dust getting in for him and unable to breathe. But he says you have dust as if you need shaking out, and your blood must be seen to, and this is going to help you have a greater sense of clarity for yourself, because your energy is very it's up and down like a yo-yo. And you yourself, you're not being frank. You're not being frank with yourself or with Kelly at the moment. You're stuck. There's something that has got you stuck, and you keep ignoring it, he says, and you like banging your head against the door. You can't ignore it, and you must clean your blood, and this is going to open the way for you to be able to clear what is blocking you, what is that you just can't feel your way to being able to express it. And the reason you can't express it is because you don't want to look there. There's a part of you that has really shut this off and put it behind you. However, it is resident in your lungs, And this is where we hold grief and sorrow and even disappointment. And this comes through loud with you, Ash. So he's saying you've just got to tell him to clean his blood. There you go. Oh, it's a pleasure, Tanya. I don't particularly like being taken by surprise, but I should have said, who knows what goes today? So there we go. You're welcome, and I'm deeply humbled. It is a privilege, and one that I don't take lightly, even though I might make some jokes. So, I'm just going to put it out there for you for a moment. Is there anything that you would like to ask in relation, not about your personal lives, but in relation to things that go bump in the night, things that have been going on? You're welcome, Ash. You're welcome, Kelly. Kim, I'm just going to read your comment. On the page that I opened the book, I read about a depiction of a river with another Egyptian bird god. It was very profound and personally moving for me on that day. Yeah, that's go deeper into that, Kim, and spend some time in meditation. And by the way, Kim, I haven't heard back from you. My beautiful Renee was telling me, following up from our phone call and discussion, Kim. So for yourselves, as you go into your evening, even as you go into bed, for some of you going to bed after this, for those of you who are going to be having dinner or whatever time of the day it is for you, take a moment and ask. I ask to connect to the sacredness of that I am. I ask to connect to the sacredness of that I am. And just give yourself a few moments to breathe into that, feel into your body. When we're evolving and beginning this path, awareness is the first place, and it is not something you can do like reading a chapter out of a book. Is it, Mandy? Maybe I could say it to Kelly too. Yes, Lisa, definitely. So when you're finding that you're being interrupted in your sleep, I had some wacky visitors last night, fire red eyes and big energy. So make sure that you are using, I am going to say, protective prayer. I heard, because I snoop sometimes, I heard this other woman who's busy telling everyone they can become clairvoyant. I heard her saying that there's no need to do protection because, I work in the light and I work with all blah, blah, blah. That's rubbish. You do need to, it's like staking your place, staking your ground. And this is what I am having in my space. So spirit have no qualms about moving in where there's no boundaries, no protection. Yeah, it's flat out at the moment, Mandy. So don't be alarmed by them. Okay, there's so much going on. When you stay in your divinity, when you at least stay in your sense of power, in your own place within yourself, and if you have trouble with centering yourself, with understanding where to start, please come into the community. At least start there and come along and learn the things that are going to align you with your divinity and get yourself going. Last night I was watching a documentary on Yogananda. Incredible man. But he began his enlightened path as a child. He also came from a family of swamis. So like I said, it's not something that you do from the thinking mind, and it's not something that you're doing. It is a way of living. It's a way of being. And dare I say, we're all human. Huh? So, stuff comes up because that's what we came here for. But learning to have balance in that and understanding, having a deeper awareness of what that stuff is, that's where you can sit in your divinity and see things so much more clearly. Things are not as they seem. Let the earth move and you see it under your feet. Sorry, it just makes me laugh. It was such a freaky experience. I'm so used to seeing beings and, spirit and souls and things. I'm not used to seeing the earth literally moving under my feet. Woo! Used to flying at night. So, prayer, Lisa, prayer. And if you have very good connection with God or the divine, and you have faith and belief, then call upon him and ask. Amazing, Kelly. Yeah. Yes, Mandy, very funny. So you can simply ask for divine light to fill your home over, under, and throughout. Imagine yourself taking a big paintbrush and painting the brightest white light, and you're saying, divine light covers my entire space. So when I do mine, I do it right out to the border of my house and right out around the perimeter of the block of my home. And why would I say over, under, and throughout? You can think about that and figure it out, my dear students. So, so those are the things to do, and not to be alarmed by any sense that you may feel or movement that you may hear. Don't be alarmed. Stay in divine light and call for help if you need it. If you haven't been doing practices, Lisa Murray, if you haven't been doing practices, if you're not centered, then start on it. And as I said, come into the community. If you need a hand with that stuff, come in the community. The community is not one-on-one mentoring, but the community offers you a wealth of learning, a wealth of tools and understandings, places for you to start and begin your journey of expansion, freedom for the soul, liberation. Yeah. Paintbrush is more fun than a roller too. So I would suggest a paintbrush, the roller. And remember to paint your windows. I have done that exercise for, my gosh, since I was 25. So that's a while ago now. And when I first did it, when I was alone with my children, when I became a single mother, and I would do that, it was just an instinct. Nobody had taught me that. It was just something that came one night. So I would have a grand old time visualizing myself painting my home, and I would paint the windows. Well, why not? You don't want anybody getting in there. So, paint away and do it really well. No rules, let creativeness flow. Well, the soul has no rules. There is divine law and there is universal law. Oh, that's something I wanted you to think about. I heard a spiritual teacher talking about the oneness of the universe, the one creator of the universe, and then everything else that's in it, and how we are interconnected with everything that's in the universe. And I'm like, you wanting me to believe that there's just one universe? Really? And that the minimal amount that we think we know about this universe, that's it? Really? What do you think? Don't you know, it's like people that go, oh, there's no other things living, and there's no afterlife or anything. You can't help ignorance, right? And an unwillingness to learn more or to be expansive. That's fine. They just have to come back and do it all over again and again and again. That's their bus. They can keep riding it, and here's your ticket, sit down, you're back again. So how could we possibly be so naive to think that we know the universe and that's it, that there's one universe? What do you think? Do I sound like I've lost the plot, or do I have some reasonable credibility in that to ask that? What do you think? I think it's absurd, and it's downright arrogant. But hey, that's mankind. Lots of. But I do hope you've enjoyed this evening. I hope there's been some lovely aha moments. Thanks, Kylie, and welcome. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and the time with Toth. I did feel him. I could feel his presence. I had also asked for him to come through. Fifth Element movie. Oh, yes, Karen. Yeah, I enjoyed that movie. So interesting. You're very welcome, Kelly and Ash. Ash, get busy. Right, many universes. Yes, Mandy, me too. And there are more than one God or one creator of those universes. Thanks, Kelly. That's awesome. Terrific, Kylie. Thanks so much for being here. Love to keep open mind. I have a word for you. You're welcome, Tanya. I have a word to leave with you tonight also, and I'd like you to really hold it in your heart. Willingness. I am willing. Now you finish that sentence. I am willing. Maybe you are willing to receive the guidance of your divinity. Maybe you are willing to receive healing. Maybe you are willing to surrender. Maybe you are just willing to know more about your true self. But willing, and willingness. That's the word I'd like to leave you with tonight, and get you to really work with it. Hold it in your heart and bring from your heart what it is that you are willing. And you have a willingness to become, to know. I love you all very much. I really love having you here and your presence with me. I appreciate it so much. And it's a pleasure. Yes, it's a beauty, isn't it? It's a pleasure to be of service with you. And I look forward to seeing you next week. If you ever wonder if the show is on, you'll always see the date on the website. So where you go and register, it will have the date of when the next show is on. So you can always check that and see what's going on. Okay. So everyone have a beautiful evening, and I hope you'll have lots to work with, to begin enjoying, exploring and discovering. And I look forward to seeing you either in the community. It's It's not a community anymore. It's a society. Get it right in the society, or joining me on the awesome path of the soul mastery. That is a brilliant pathway to take, if I say so myself. Willingness to be, that's beautiful, Tanya. God bless you all. Take good care. Good night for now.